Win the incredible Steigercraft 21DB Miami, powered by a Yamaha 200, in the ultimate season-long multiple-species subscriber-only fishing competition, the Fisherman's 2017 Dream Boat Fishing Challenge. Go to thefisherman.com and enter today. The Fishing News is brought to you by Okuma and The Reel Seat at 707 Union Avenue in Brielle. Gear up for June sharking with Reel Seat shark rigs, big game hooks, floats, wire leader, and tournament essentials for Mako and Thresher action.
Wonderful weekend for fishing ahead. It's Father's Day weekend, and regrettably, I'm not going to be out fishing with Dad this weekend. Hope he realizes, of course, that I'd rather be fishing with him on Sunday than just about any place else in the world. I'm Jim Hutchinson with the New Jersey Delaware Bay edition of the Fisherman magazine, fishing with my pop here, junior and senior, at a time that, I'll be honest with you, I don't even remember fishing at this time. But it's just one of those things. I did get the opportunity, though, to fish with Dad. Over this past weekend, we were drifting along the clam stakes in Great Bay, and we did have a couple of keepers. Nothing like this one, though, a 10-pounder for Rob Caruso. Found this one behind Brigantine using a 2-ounce Spro with a 6-inch gulp swimming mullet. Caught it on his kayak, weighed that doormat into Riptide Bait and Tackle in Brigantine. Spro bucktails, great opportunity for scoring fish, stripers, and of course Fluke. I'm actually on a little work trip here in Long Island Sound. We're going after some of those 19-inch doormats up here. Of course, down in New Jersey, we've got the 18-inchers, 16 inches along Island Beach State Park, 17 inches in Delaware Bay. But working with the folks from Spro and the Spro bucktails with the thinner wire gauge, just absolutely deadly for Fluke. As we're finding out, we continue to find out. For example, Taryn Dillon, she had a 7-pounder on Raritan Bay earlier this week, bucktailing early in the week, early in the evening. Of course, as it seems, every year, the ladies always seem to get it done. For example, this young lady hitting up a nice fluke on the Seahawk, also on Raritan Bay over the weekend. Now, a good opportunity this weekend to enjoy some time with the kids or the wife and girlfriend might be tournament time. Woodbridge, if you're up on Raritan Bay, the Mayor John McCormick, 11th annual Fluke tournament's going on Saturday. That's held out of Sawarren. You can check in with the crew from Dockside for details on that. If you're heading to the beach this weekend, you got plenty of opportunities to score Fluke in the wash all along the Jersey Shore. Spro bucktails and a little bit of gulp. Make sure you take a tray in your backpack and pack along some gulp as well. Like Bob Massa, he had a 23-incher in the suds in Long Beach Island, weighted in at Surf City Bait and Tackle. You might also, if you're out there bucktailing with one of those Spros and a chartreuse gulp swimming mullet, you might also score with a nice striper as well, also at Surf City Bait and Tackle. Jeff was on the Barnegat Light Jetty looking for Fluke, ended up with a 35.5-inch striped bass. Now, if you're targeting striped bass, it's still a good bet in the Back Bay too. In fact, down in South Jersey, if you're looking at the bridge structure, eeling around the bridges, for example, in Ocean City, that worked for Frank Favrizzani, who had a 15.4-pounder that he brought into Fanatics. While the live bunker and chunk bite continues to score some good fish, especially central and north coast, trolling north of Barnegat. You'll also score some monsters, whether you're taking out the stretch plugs, the Rapala X-Raps, the Majas, or the Mojos. 62.45-pound striper for Captain Rob Crocitto, one of the big fish of this 2017 season. He had that Tuesday, a 52-inch fish that he had in along the Jersey coast somewhere. He's out of Staten Island. In fact, the Staten Island Tuna Club guys tell me from Long Branch all the way to the Shrewsbury Rocks, scoring 40s, 50s, and 60s. I said trolled baits. It was a trolled mojo for Stephen Germann earlier this week, 51 pounds. He checked that into Fisherman's Den in Belmar. Bobby at Fisherman's Den this time last year had a lot of 50-pound stripers weighed in, but at least that march of 50s is beginning, so there's a little optimism up there. Now, if you're down in Delaware Bay, you still have some opportunities with the black drum. In fact, the Delaware Bay black drum bite was still good through last week's full moon. In fact, aboard the Bonanza, Captain Mike has had a bunch of kids on some of these giant boomers. The Miss Chris is running for him. Break Even Charters, Cape Queen, still a good opportunity for one of those boomers. Meanwhile, the other side of Delaware Bay, we're getting more of the sharks arriving. As a matter of fact, Shane Martin and crew had a 408-pound thresher. They caught it on mackerel fillet out at the fingers, weighed it in at Hook 'em and Cook 'em. We are getting some monster reports of some good size makos, and of course more of those threshers coming in. If you're in New Jersey, Father's Day is your last opportunity to take advantage of that 10 biscuit limit, those black sea bass. Nick Honicheski was on the benchmark earlier in the week. Remember, it closes as of Monday, takes a brief pause. You have 10 fish bag limit until Sunday, then we have a pause. We'll get our 2 fish black sea bass limit back in New Jersey in July. Another good opportunity, some outstanding crabbing throughout the state of New Jersey. In fact, 2-year-old Aaron Percopo out on Barnegat Bay with his family this week showed how it's done. Smart, tough young man here learning how to hold those jimmies as well. Good advice to pass along to the youngsters at this point. Good Father's Day recommendation. You know, whether you're fishing catch and release, or you're going for some shark baits, or putting some on the grill, there's still good opportunities with those bluefish throughout the state as well. Father-son team of Frank and Will aboard Lighthouse Sport Fishing over the weekend had some nice cocktails. You might think about that, a father-son trip aboard one of the head boats, going out for the bluefish this weekend. I don't know if I remember everything about this trip. On the Miss Barnegat Light back in the 70s with my father. I know what I do forget is everything I had after, everything that happened after the bologna sandwich in the 6 to 8 footers at night. But an outstanding time. You have plenty of opportunities to get out with your father, with the wives, with the daughters. Enjoy the weekend ahead. Take advantage of that time you have, and be sure to join us again next week right here at thefisherman.com.
Win the incredible Craft 21 DB Miami, powered by a Yamaha 200, in the ultimate season-long multiple species subscriber-only fishing competition, the Fisherman's 2017 Dream Boat Fishing Challenge. Go to thefisherman.com and enter today. The Fishing News is brought to you by Okuma and the Reel Seat at 707 Union Avenue in Brielle. Gear up for June sharking with Reel Seat shark rigs, big game hooks, floats, wire leader, and tournament essentials for mako and thresher action.